Homage to Master Sakya Tsongkhong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dubden Dorji. Homage to the rituals of the altar. Homage to the main deity of group practice today, Amitabha Buddha of Sukhavati, the western realm of utmost bliss. Sumo Rinpoche, all the Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples, and everybody present here and over the internet, how do you do?
Hola amigo, que quiero mucho. Sugoin, ichiban, kimochi, Jumi, yabi, bling bling, konbanwa. 那今天这个大家，我回向的时候啊，我念这个。
Today, when I was dedicating the merit, I already called upon the names of my 4 gurus. Maybe you thought that Grandmaster forgot that it's about to teach Dharma, but actually that's not the case, because this evening the auspicious light was very radiant. The rays of precious auspicious lights around here. I saw the descent of these 4 gurus. So Amitabha Buddha, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, Mahasatma Bodhisattva, and all the members of the Lotus division all descended. So they're all rays of lights, the whole temple and actually in the whole sky. So earlier they were all bright light in front of my eyes, and they were just sparkling and shining very brightly, and not anymore now, but at the beginning it was. So that's why I called upon the 4 gurus. Perhaps you thought that Grandmaster was making mistakes. That in reality is because I saw the 4 gurus. I saw the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, Master Sakya Tsongkhong, His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and Master Dubden Dorji. And because I was very happy, that's why I called upon their names. And then I called on Amitabha Buddha, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, and Mahastama Prapta Bodhisattva. We know that Amitabha Buddha had 4 levels of Pure Land. The Pure Land of the both sage and mundane beings, and then the highest one is the Pure Land of permanent extinction, and there are the 3. So if you have gotten to the highest level of the Pure Land, you will not be reborn in the Saha world. But if you're at the lowest Pure Land, which is the Pure Land where the mundane and the sages reside, that's because you chanted the Buddha's name and mantra, and you didn't have spiritual union, but you chant the Buddha's name and mantra and you're single-minded, which means you're already in meditation, that your mind has been settled, that at the moment of death you have chanted the Buddha's name and you're mindful of the Pure Land Trinity, then you would be guided there. But your karma is not completely eradicated. So you would be guided to the Pure Land where the mundane and the sages reside together. So there is a place for the mundane as well. So if you're non-returning, if you don't abandon it, then you will attain Buddhahood eventually. Because once you get there, there would be sages or holy beings that would teach you how to go to the next level, and then the next level, and then to the highest one, which is the Pure Land where the permanent extinction. So when you reach to the highest level of Pure Land, that is the nirvana without remains, which is the same as Buddhahood. Which means you don't have the fruition of life and death anymore. So you have no more the fruition of birth and death. That is called nirvana without remains. But if you go to the Pure Land with remains, that would be nirvana with remains. That's the 3rd level. So there is no birth and death cause. There's no the cause for birth and death. And what is the convenient Pure Land with remain? That's the 3rd level, which is you're already in meditation. You're not in the 6 rebirth realms anymore, but there's the transform life and death, but it's not the 6 rebirth realms. It is rather difficult to explain. So what kind of life and death for the mundane beings? It's like pieces in pieces. So what does it mean in pieces? You die, it's the death of a mundane being. So it's broken into pieces. That the life is broken, then you enter into the bardo state. The death, by death it's broken, then it's the bardo spirit, and then birth, and then another bardo, another death, another bardo. So that's the life and death in pieces. So the life and death of mundane beings is suffering. But the transformed life and death is in a flash. It's very swift. There's no rebirth cycle there. In the Journey of the West novel, it talks about the monk Tang who went to the Western paradise, and there was a river there, and his 3 disciples asked the monk Tang to get onto the boat. There's a boat. So they asked the monk to get on the boat without bottom. It's just water. A boat with water underneath. And the monk Tang said, how come there's a boat like this? Boat has bottom. Then when you get on it, you would die, right? But his disciple, the Monkey King, asked him to get on the boat. And he did. And once he got on the boat, he's fine. He could still sit on the boat. But not long, they saw a corpse flowing on the river, and when they took a look, it was the corpse of the monk Tang. So what does it mean? The one on the boat is not the physical being of the monk Tang. But it's the varied life and death monk. And from then on, there's no more physical body. So that kind of life and death is called the variation or varied life and death. So you can change like as you want, as you wish. However youthful you want to be, however handsome you want to be, you can always be youthful. It can be transformed immediately. So that kind of transformed or varied or variation life and death, then there's no more physical being, no more burials by the earth, water, fire, or on the plant. No more rebirth cycle of the 6 rebirth realms. So the key thing once you get to the Sukhavati is that it's not returning. Therefore, we all want to strive to be reborn in Sukhavati, so that we want, if we can have Amitabha Buddha to guide us to the Pure Lands, then we are at peace. That all the worldly affairs, big and small, it's not even as big as a sesame seed. They're all just farts. So when you come for spiritual consultation, actually they're all just farts. So you still care about mundane affairs, then you're not spiritual cultivator or sadhaka. Like how much you have in your bank account and you haggle over it, that's truly mundane. And who is bullying you today? That is mundane. And pain here and pain there or whatever, that's all mundane. That even if you meet favorable, helpful people, that's also mundane. And you still talk about money, about nobility, about wealth, prosperity, houses, cars. If you still think of this, that's all mundane. And the most sacred today is to be reborn in the Buddha land, Pure Land, and to have this variant life and death, no more 6 rebirth cycle. And then a step further, that there is no cause of life and death, with the nirvana with remains. And then if you progress further, there is no cause for life and death. There would be nirvana without remains. That would be the fundamentals, the basic. Otherwise, what would spiritual cultivation is all about? So don't care about all those little things. Why are you so concerned about them? No need to consult for those minor things. Why do you still come for spiritual consultation? The reason is because I'm still giving spiritual consultation is to resolve the mundane issues. Actually, there is no merits whatsoever. Therefore, Bodhidharma said the most statement, where there be any merits. The Emperor Wu of Liang said, I have built so many temples. South of the river, I have built so many temples, and I have raised or take care of so many monks and nuns that should have generated so much merits, right? And Bodhidharma directly replied to him, no merits whatsoever, because he used the highest standard to talk about merits. So revolving the afflictions of people, to give happiness to people, to resolve their sufferings, and to do it with joy. and you forsake everything equally. Even the loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity have no merits whatsoever. It is a very small fruit between heaven and earth. But however, why do we still need to, or do we want to accumulate those merits? Is you need to have these merits in order to meet the true, authentic guru or spiritual guidance to teach you. Otherwise, without encountering a good, true guru, and instead you encounter a fraudulent or fake guru, then you would still be in the rebirth cycle. So that's I would like to share at the beginning of this Dharma teaching. So Bodhidharma taught teachings in terms of the ultimate. There is no merits whatsoever. However, in the human world, we still want to accumulate merits. We still want to help beings and help people, is to accumulate merits so that in the future we can meet a true, authentic spiritual guide to teach us, so that by your merits you can be reborn in the pure Buddha lands, so that you have the affinity to meet the true, authentic guru or spiritual guide. Prior to the Dharma teaching, would like to start with a joke. On the train, there's an elderly man, and next to him was a young mom carrying her child, who's pulling her clothes off her breast. And she kept saying, no, it's not time yet. I will give you a drink after a few stations. After passing a few stations, she opened her bag and took a milk bottle. And the elderly man got off the train immediately. And he kept saying, she didn't say that it was just about the bottle. So that made me miss a few stations already. That's mundane, truly mundane. So now we'll do question and answer. Question from Malaysia. Homage to the teacher of heaven and earth, the lineage of Guru, His Holiness Living Buddha Lien Sheng, Grandmaster, auspicious, more auspicious. First question. When I initially enter Samadhi, being in union with the Yidam, I feel full of Dharma joy, and everywhere is clear light. But after a while, thoughts of self-existence give rise to all sorts of destructive thoughts. No matter what methods I use to ignore or stop them, it's hard to get back in. Grandmaster, how should I overcome this obstacle? So congratulations, Lianhua Xixiang, that he could enter and exit Samadhi, or initially entering Samadhi in union with the Yidam and feel full of Dharma joy. That's bliss. So that's the sensation of bliss. Everywhere is clear light. That's right. Like what Grandmaster saw, clear light everywhere. Clear light radiance everywhere. But after a while, thoughts of self-existence appear. You start to feel yourself. So that means you exit from samadhi. Then all sorts of thoughts appear. Whether I try to ignore it or stop them, it's hard to get back in. Let me tell you. According to what I transmitted in Singapore, at that time, what did I teach? The 9 stages of entering meditation. 9 stages of entering meditation. I was talking about this. You gradually increase the time of your meditation, the duration of your meditation. Initially, when you enter samadhi or meditation, you didn't say how long. When you start to be aware of yourself, that means you have exit from samadhi. When you are in samadhi, you feel the Dharma joy, and everywhere is clear light radiance. That's right. The Yidam is in union with you. The Yidam is you, and you are the Yidam. And you feel of Dharma joy, and everywhere is clear light radiance. But after a while, perhaps 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. If you can meditate for 25 minutes, that's already very good. That's really not bad already. Then you have passed. That every time you meditate, you can be in meditation for 25 minutes before you exit from samadhi. That's very good already. That means you have passed. If you can increase it, like me, one time I meditated at 2 a.m. When I exited from it, it was 4 a.m. So I was in meditation for 2 hours. In the middle of the night, I would practice. And after I complete my practice, exit from samadhi, then I would sleep. Every night I do that. I never stop. Now I do bardo deliverance every night. All those who died from coronavirus, I would invite them all by Golden Mother's great majestic power to bless them, by Amitabha Buddha's real power to guide them to the Pure Land, using Dharma ship, that they filled the Dharma ships and together they are guided to the Western paradise of Amitabha Buddha. I do it every night. I never skip a night. And then I enter samadhi. Last night I saw Amitabha Buddha. And Amitabha Buddha, one like here, and first I saw the sun, the light rays, and at the center there's a dot, and then a cycle, a circle, and then it's becoming brighter and brighter, and Amitabha Buddha is right in the middle of it. And then the night before, I saw Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva holding the nectar vase and sprinkling the nectar upon me. And I was showered by the pure nectar. So every day there's something. So you gradually increase the length of your meditation. So you don't need to be worried about this. This is not considered an obstacle. It just means you exit from samadhi. That thoughts start to appear, and you start to feel that you exist. That means you exit from samadhi. The Venerable Elder Xu Yun meditated in Thailand for 10 days. And because he meditated for so long, he was still alive, passing the first day, second, third, fourth days. And more people came to visit him. And even the king of Thailand knew about it and came for pilgrimage to see him. So he was in meditation for 10 days. Is there a true Buddha disciple who could sit here for 1 day? 1 day is possible. I shouldn't say that. After a day and a night, and the second, and the third, and they don't eat at all, and then asking them to go eat, and they just completely ignore. That means they're in meditation. Then I would pay homage to that person. If you can do it for 3 days and nights without eating and drinking, and of course you don't need to defecate or urinate. You just sit there unmoved. And the Venerable Elder Xu Yun could do it for 10 days. And one time, from Mount Puto, Zhejiang to Mount Wutai, he bowed, he paid homage every 3 steps. So from Puto-san to Wutai-san, the Mount Puto in Zhejiang to Mount Wutai in Shanxi. And then he was cooking some yam inside the tent. It was snowing outside. He wanted to eat the yam. So he thought he would meditate while waiting, but when he woke up, when he exited from samadhi, everything dried up. The fire is gone, and there was even mold on the yam. So already moldy. So how long did he meditate it? Just imagine how many days he meditated that the yam got moldy. Didn't even know. So entering meditation, continuing to increase, your running thoughts continuing to decrease. And when you increase to a score of 10, then you have attainment. So by increasing a stage, then your thoughts are gradually decreasing or diminishing until eventually you have no more thoughts. No. So that even when you exit from meditation, you're still in meditation. What does that mean? Is that the person has no self and everything has no me or ego. So the person has no self and everything has no self. Then attachments to self and to everything are eliminated. That means you're always in meditation all your life. You never feel that self exists. You never have thoughts about yourself. So the person has no self. And when you are doing the Dhamma practice, you don't even know that you are doing the Dhamma practice. That means the Dharma has no self. Like Sakyamuni Buddha, everything is in meditation. Doesn't matter what he does, what he did. He was in meditation. If you can cultivate spiritually until you reach such a state, then you attain Buddhahood in this lifetime. That's the answer to Lianhua Jixiang. One is increasing, one is decreasing. You're increasing your meditation power, and you are decreasing your thoughts. Then gradually you're increasing the duration of your meditation time. When you practice the Vajra chanting, when Qi enters navel chakra to melt the R character, I naturally fart. Sorry for the rudeness. Should I close off and lift up my anus so that I don't let out any gas? Or is my qi just butts in? That you naturally fart. Just with one fart. Oh, 2 farts. That's fine. Because you don't want to hold qi. If the qi wants to get out, just let it out. Then you lift up your anus again. Sometimes you forget to lift up your anus. You lift up your anus, but don't pay attention to it. Just let it be natural. And it's okay to let out the gas a little bit. It's okay. It's a natural phenomena. It's not qi leaking or butts in. It's okay. And this is talking from experience. People with no experience would say, oh, you have to hold the qi. You have to hold the farts. Like when you were with your girlfriends, when you were dating, you never fart. When I was young, I dated. And even when I have gas and I wanted to let go of the gas, I would hold it. Only after I bye-bye with my girlfriend and walk further, then I started to let out. That's natural phenomena. Like when a lady is dating with a man and you continue to fart all the time, then the man would feel. Because in dating, you want to show the best side of you. for both man and woman.
都会很温柔啊。我知道有一个笑话是这样子。
There's this joke. A man went to see a great master and said, "My wife is very very fierce to me, but my mistress is very nice and gentle to me. What should I do?" And the master replied, "Never," very wise. Never believe. In that show, because once she got to the position, then she would be all the same. When she's just a mistress, she's very caring and kind and gentle and tender. It's just about missing you, longing for you, and loving you every second and minute. That is all you in her heart. But once she gets to be your wife, that's the end of it. You're dead. Right? When you were dating, do you dare to fart? No. But once you get married, who cares? She starts to fart from the morning all day. After marriage, that's it. It's better to be girlfriends and boyfriends. So farting is a normal thing. From Indonesia, 莲花有香. The name So it's truly fragrant, even the fart. Beloved Grandmaster, my questions are about Mahamayuri practice. Grandmaster once said that Mahamayuri is both yidam and protector. And in your reply letter, you suggested that I practice Mahamayuri yidam and protector. Should I do the yidam and protector practices separately? Or by practicing the Mahamayuri deity yoga, it means that I have done both yidam and protector practices? What do you think? Nobody replied? That's right. Once you gain spiritual response with Mahamayuri, then he is both your yidam and protector. So Guru Padmasambhava's yidam is Singamuka, and she's also his protector. So it's his yidam, protector, and guru. So guru, yidam, and protector are Singamuka.
修孔雀明王本真法，所以孔雀明王护法法，还是孔雀明王念诵法，就是本真法，就等于本尊跟护法。
So Mahamayuri deity yoga, that means it's both yidam and protective practices.
观想自己与孔雀明王合一的意思是。
When visualizing myself to be in union with Mahamayuri, am I in union with Mahamayuri alone without the peacock, or including his peacock throne?
这个就是这个就是4个字，想的太多。
This means you think too much.
你可以这样子分段嘛。我修孔雀明王法是修我
You can analyze.
坐在上面的孔雀明王合一。
In my Mahamayuri Dharma practice, I am in union with Mahamayuri without the peacock, or even including the peacock, but without the peacock's feet. So you separate the feet from the peacock because the feet are ugly.
其实是合一的。
Actually, you're in union.
所以你修孔雀明王合一的意思就是说
So, when you practice to be in union with Mahamayuri, so Moili Gelati, that's Mahamayuri. That means it's including the Mahamayuri and the peacock. They're all together.
你不能讲说我只包含这个孔雀跟孔雀明王，不包含脚。
So you cannot say that you just include the peacock but not the feet.
第3个问题，我常梦到自己身体非常轻，可以飞。睡时跟静坐时，全身有软流。
I often dream of myself being very light and flying. When I sleep or in meditation, I feel flows of warmth. What should I do about it? That's very good.
没错，很好，可以的。我常常梦到自己在飞行。
That's good. I often dream of myself flying.
我自己知道自己身体很轻，可以飞。我要梦到自己要去餐馆吃饭。那餐馆在8楼，我没有坐电梯，我就坐在这个。
So the restaurant is on the 8th floor. I didn't take the elevator. I stand in front of the restaurant. And the person keeps flying up, levitating. And the window opens. And then I flew through the window. And then I sat on a seat and started to order. And everybody in the restaurant saw me flying in. Wow, he flew from the ground to the 8th floor and ate at the restaurant. That's my dream this past few days. I flew through the mountains, the rivers, flew to the Pure Lands. And I saw people like ants. And I flew in the sky. And they couldn't fly.
很好，常常身体非常轻，可以飞，但是业障很少。
So if you feel your body is very light and you can fly, that means your karma is very light. That's the sign that your karma is very light.
及静坐的时候，全身有软流，
When you sleep or in meditation, you feel flows of warmth all over your body. That means that inner fire has arisen. When you sleep, the inner fire is circulating inside your body or in meditation. You don't need to do anything. Just let it circulate naturally.
你如果觉得自己身体哪一个地方不舒服
If you feel discomfort in any part of the body, then you think of that part and to let it go to that place a little bit more. Then the discomfort will disappear.
我告诉你，一般年纪大的
Most elderlies at 40s, problems with your waist or backs, and at 50s, you have problems with your shoulders. But until this year, I will not say how old I am. Some people never say their age. Even if you beat them, say how old you are, then they never say. Even when they're already so old, they would never say it. Because age is somebody's secret. It's also secret to Grandmaster. But my age is more than when Confucius died. Confucius died at 73. And at 60, Su Tongpo released all of his wives to let them marry somebody else's. When he was 60, Su Tongpo sent away all his wives, and he just kept one. Xiao Run, accompanying him, and the rest were sent away. Perhaps because Microsoft.
Microsoft 我们国语翻成微软，已经微软了。苏东坡60岁就微软了，老夫。不能讲我几岁，我还在益阳来复呢。什么是益阳来复啊？
But as for me, I still have the 益阳来复, which means when the qi feels to that place, it could still
就可以撑伞，就是晚上睡觉的时候啊，睡。
Open the umbrella, which means when you're at sleep at night, there's an umbrella opened in your bed. That means because when the yang qi enters, even for babies, he's just very tiny, but it could still erect or stand up. The young people, and for the elderly, usually they wither. Like Su Tongpo, when he was 60, he sent away all of his wives and only kept Xiao Run.
老夫还会益阳来复，你看，哎呦，真的。 有软流最好。40腰50间。
So if you have a warmth flow, that's good. So those are signs when you have backache or shoulder ache at 40s or 50s. So only this year I had a little bit of pain in my shoulder, and I was at the Rainbow Temple. I could not lift up my arm. Remember one day, and I thought, oh no, I could not lift my arm anymore. Couldn't extend it straight. Anybody saw that when I was at the Rainbow Temple? Many. But it only lasted for one day. Because I need to give blessings to other people. And I need to set protections for my room or for Simu's room. I have to bless Simu. So how could I not lift my arms? I have to chant mantra too. To block the doors, the windows, the sky, the earth. So I have to give blessings. So how could I not lift my arms? Not able to lift my arms, and how could I perform blessings? So that happened only one day. I prayed to Golden Mother, and then I circulated my inner fire at those places a few more times, and then I could lift my arms again. That's a real story. So when it happened, I could not lift my arm, but after I got home, I prayed, and I know about life, my lifespan too. And Amitabha Buddha told me that he would extend my lifespan 3 years. I said, only 3 years? That's so little. And then he asked me, then when would you want to go? And I said, I'm still very happy nowadays. When I'm not happy anymore, you can let me die. Because I am a happy person. Every day I'm very happy. When I'm unhappy already, then it's time for me to go. I know about my lifespan, my own lifespan. And Amitabha Buddha said that he would extend it by 3 years. But that's not enough. Because I still have the Yang Lai Fu, the one yang coming back. Oh, isn't that too early? And I told Golden Mother, what would you want to do in the human world? When it's time to go, it's time to go. But Amitabha Buddha wanted to extend my lifespan 3 years. So, do I want to extend it or do I want to stay? Amitabha Buddha asked me, what do you want to do in the human world? You think that human life is happy? It's like fish in scanty water. Is there any happiness? Bodhidharma said, is there any happiness in the world? When Sakyamuni Buddha gave a teaching, the first statement was, For the bhikshu, bhikshuni, upasaka, upasakis, listen, this life is suffering. The first statement of the Buddha's Dharma teaching. Therefore, Sakyamuni Buddha regarded that human life is suffering. And because it is suffering, you want to cultivate spiritually. The beautiful female teacher explained to the students. Ru is suckling, like pig suckling, or the pigeon suckling. That means it's a word in Chinese. This is only funny in Chinese.
老师讲这个不行，再换一个。小明讲，我每天上学都要跳过我家门口的一条乳沟。老师说不行，再换一个。小明讲，老师，我实在想不出来。我现在我的乳头都想破了。所以，乳有乳的用法，乳有乳的用法，不能够完全都那个。
So sometimes terms or idioms mean different things. Now we will talk about Lamdre.
颂吟终极戒，是以是集会处宫殿。
Now, this is a brief explanation on the spiritual experiences of the middle accumulation period. The verse in quote, middle accumulation period, refers to the palaces of the four accumulation areas with the gathering of the potentially accumulable mind chi as the parents and the slightly lucid gathering as the reason. The verse in quotes, with the chi as a knife to open the channel knots, refers to the slight aches in the channel and chi like a balmy spring breeze. The verse in pain, in quote, pain of light drops, refers to the overflowing light drops in all channels which generate pleasurable pain. It is of utmost importance to guard against leakage. The verse in quotes, vivid sights, end quote, refers that by relying on the slightly clear ambrosia and slightly robust chi, it is not an exaggeration to say that one is able to have these sightings, which is the beginning of the transcendent power with leakage. So, the palaces of the four accumulation areas. We know about the 5 chakras. The brow chakra is the highest one. So, if it's 4, then it's without the brow chakra. So the throat chakra is the palace of the accumulation, the heart chakra, the navel chakra, and the secret chakra. They are the palaces of the accumulation areas. The gathering of the mind chi as the parents. Mind is the thoughts, and the chi, the air that you breathe in, or the fire, gathering there water and fire are together with the qi. You use your qi to harmonize the water and fire, and you use your mind to accumulate at the palaces. Qi, light drops, and inner fire harmonize together with your thought or your mind together at the 4 palaces. The parents, the father is the fire, and the water or the mother is the light drops or water. And by gathering there frequently, gradually it would start to clarify. So to open the channels and the chakras, which is to open your chakras. The verse in quotes, with the qi as a knife to open the channel knots, end quote, refers to the slight aches in the channel, and qi like a balmy spring breeze. So it's just a little ache, and it's pleasurable ache. It's not the true pain. So ache or pain, when you open the channel, sometimes it's pleasurable ache. So Chinese words are really the best. When we say 痛快, oh, 痛快, pleasurable. It's so joyly or delight is it's pain and happiness together. So it's a little bit of ache and a little bit of pleasure in there. It's hard to describe. That's the pain of light drops. Like a balmy spring breeze. And the pain of light drops, overflowing light drops. For elderly people, they don't have saliva anymore, but I salivate all day long. When you're old, you would have dry mouth, and you have to drink all the time. But I salivate even when I give Dharma teaching. Can you hear it? So I continue to salivate. Those are light drops. So when the light drops are overflowing in all channels, and you have lots of light drops, then you have no illness, because the light drops are circulating smoothly. Because you have the light drops flowing anytime, it would generate a pleasurable pain. Yeah, the pleasurable ache. It's very hard to describe. In Chinese we say 痛快, heartily, that it's aching but it feels good. It's very hard to say. 痛快
又痛又快，
delighted or jolly.
守护肉丝为重要。我根本就没有肉丝的。
So it's utmost important to guard against
跟你
leakage.
讲，我根本
And
就
I
没有
have
肉丝
no
的。
leakage at all.
所以，但是你们在修的时候，一定要守护肉丝。
But
等到
in your
热
practice, you have
这
to
一点
guard
点热
against
出来的时候，马上
leakage.
咔嚓，
When the bliss is appearing, immediately you have to cut it
转
off.
意念一转，
You have to turn your thought.
看，有时候用那个长哄2日，哄
Sometimes the long
短
home
哄10日，哄
twice and the short home 10 times.
观想咒日，在
And you
心中
visualize the
把
sit
你的意
syllable
念
in the
引导进
sky
去，不要
and
感
you
觉到它
place
很
your
热，
mind there. Don't feel the
然后
bliss
等它
anymore.
那热消失了，
And when the bliss diminishes, you start again.
那就是可以延长。
Then you can
守护
extend.
肉丝最重要，不能够让
The
它
most
漏出来。
important is not to leak.
就是一阵痛一阵热，肉丝的时候
Leakage
一直
is
痛一阵热
also
缠在一起的。
pain and pleasure mixed together.
这个时候啊，你要景象坚固，你就变成非常坚
So
固。
at this time you have
我已经是
vivid
够了，
or robust
够
sights.
了就不用再守护。
And I am already non-leaking. There's no need to guard because you're already
明天在你
non-leaking.
身上不会漏失掉。
That light drops will never leak from your
这个
body.
时候啊，你
At that time,
身心都很沉静，
that your
气也会比较坚固。
body and mind would be very
反而
clear
见烟灯景象，开始
and
出现有肉的神通。开始
you
会
would
出现
start
有肉的神通。你只要
to
有
have
肉
transcendent power
会
with
产生
leakage.
神通。因为为什么会神通？因为你
So if you're non-leaking, then you would definitely have
都会出现，只要
transcendent power.
脉通了脉，
As long as you have
通了脉，
the channels open and smooth,
心轮打开了，气轮打开了，逆轮打开了，
that the heart chakra, the
它就
navel chakra, the secret chakra all open, then you will definitely have
可以
transcendent power.
看到本尊了，
That you would be able to see
看到
Buddhas, Bodhisattvas,
看到
and
满
Yidam,
十方光明，
like yesterday,
看到这个四个上师下降，
and that I would be able to see the 4 gurus descending.
就可以看得到
Then you would be able to see all those,
光明，这些
to see
都会出来。
the Yidam and all the lights.
昨天晚上跟老婆看鬼片，
Last night, with my wife, we watched the horror movies,
笑死人。
and
要不是我分担过去，不然我一定会好好的笑他，
it was so funny
笑他。
that she was so scared. But if I didn't,
笑百步。
faint first,
老公讲，为什么朋友同事来我们家，
the husband
会
said,
夸你，会持家，才买得起房子。
friends coming for dinner always say that
是啊
you're very good, that you can
老公讲，
uphold the house, and
我会嫌老婆，
or that the wife can uphold the house, maintain the house really well. That's very important. But and how about you, Happy? Oh, because I can choose the right wife. Sumo has a strength, which is she can uphold the
只
house,
会持家哦，
to housekeep
还会
really
持
well,
宗派。
and not just housekeeping, but also the school keeping.
我觉得啊，我个人本人觉得，
I personally
喝酒
feel
可以防疫，
that drinking alcohol can definitely prevent the epidemic. You know why? Because when you're drunk, you will not be able to leave the house. And there's one more secret, that the alcohol can kill the germs. So I drink the alcohol to strengthen the bones. 58 proof.
我喝的是 58% 的 alcohol。你们喝几%的？老二会喝几%的？现在没有了。哦，那这样你没有杀菌。
Do you drink? No. Then you don't kill the germs. You cannot drink alcohol. Alcohol is one of the 5 precepts. Because getting drunk, you can lose control. And you should not also harm your liver. You can only drink if you can still be in control, under self-control. But in Grandmaster's view, if you're drunk, then you're violating the precepts. If you just drink a tiny little bit, a tonic wine is okay, as the medicinal drink is okay. But once you're drunk, then you're violating the precepts. Then you're violating the 5 precepts. The wife left a message to the husband who worked late. I left you the ginseng chicken and the black bone chicken on the table, but if that's not enough for you, not enough tonifying for you, there's an old hen on the bed too. You know, spiritual cultivation for man has to be non-leaking the white body, and the woman should practice until they are not leaking the red body. When they're young, they have to stop the red body already, not because of menopause. Remember that. There's a niece at home, 5 years old, very naughty, and broke a bowl. And how did you break it? And then he took another bowl. She took another bowl and then threw it. Oh, this is how I broke the bowl. Om Mani Padme Hum.